Sony Computer Entertainment America presents a Universal Interactive Studios production. A game created and developed by Naughty Dog.
Hey, welcome to the Any Percent No Major Skips TAS. To explain what happened in the first level there, it's called zigzagging, so you alternate back and forth on the joystick really quick. It was in the Any Percent TAS before. Basically it's TAS only, so nobody's going to be doing that RTA. This is a very great level. This level is interesting. If you've seen my movement tutorial, it has some really weird physics, so you don't always have to take the best racing lines, but there it is. I'm doing this in a really specific order as well, because there's a global cycle in the water level, so we're about to see that. And that little camera turn there loses a frame, but it doesn't matter because of the global cycle. It makes up for it. So about half these levels are not platforming, so the TAS will be half zip-zagging, half normal gameplay. I kind of like it because it breaks it up a bit. Lots of boosts here off boxes and coral and stuff. Another box boost there. Yeah, doesn't really matter too much because of the global cycles, but get every frame you can anyway. Yeah, the first turning thing I went through, it has to basically almost crush you, and then you still have to wait for this one a little bit, yeah. So I had to wait for that. That's the earliest frame I could go through. That's why I could sacrifice a frame in the water level without losing it total. And the only thing that affects the level order is basically those water levels and entropy with the mask. So from this point, I'm pretty free to do whatever order I want. In this level, every time you jump on Pura, you get you save a frame every time you jump. So I have a method to get lots of jumps that was also in the time trial TAS. It took a little bit over 6 months to make the TAS. So you can hear each individual jump under the wall there. So every one of those saves a frame, which means 30 of them saves a second. I think people are starting to do it in RTA as well, but not as much. And it's actually really hard to stay under there, so every time there's a little hill or something I have to come back up. Gonna get a cuddle skip. So the cuddle skip there, that's in RTA as well, saves 5 or 6 seconds. Usually Coco cuddles Pura, and then you slowly have to walk to the warp portal. Alrighty, so more zip-zagging in this one. So what happens with zip-zagging is you have to build up a lot of speed at the start of the level, and then in Crash 3, the screen has a maximum scrolling speed. So right now it's scrolling at maximum, and all I have to worry about is lag reduction and not falling behind so that the screen scrolls slower. And then I have to get into the warp portal on the first frame, so you can see how far away I get into it there. The camera doesn't even scroll up to it. So yeah, get the screen scrolling as fast as possible and get into the warp portal as early as possible. And that's all you have to do for those, and lag reduction as well. But it's not easy because you have to figure out exactly how much speed to build up so you can do that. Crash 1 doesn't have a cap on the scrolling speed, so that would be also really hard to optimize, and I'd be really interested to see it because it would be really fast. I don't think that Crash 1 will ever get full-on optimized TAS because of that though, because in this one you can optimize to the scrolling speed, but in Crash 1 you can't. I'm not sure about Crash 2. Every time the lines come out in this fight, they come out in lots of 1 or lots of 2, and lots of 2 costs about 11 frames, so I'm getting all single lines. Spinning them away doesn't matter, and there's no music in the fight because I skipped the cutscene early. If you skip it too quickly, then there's no music. Yeah, Dust, I would imagine that Crash 2 has a capped scrolling speed, but I haven't tested it yet. So we might see a fully optimized zip-zagging TAS of that. Oh, interesting. What ways are there to test it? Oh, and there's normal movement to these portals because it wasn't worth building up speed and zigzagging there. It was down to like only a few frames there. Oh, that's awesome. So basically every time you hit a corner in zigzagging or a hill, you have to lose some time. So getting height is really hard because you can't slide jump. Slide jump costs you speed. So it's hard to get height and hard to turn corners. Oh, that's awesome, Dust. Yeah, that's a really good way to test it. Yeah, Crash 1 definitely feels different than 2 and 3. There's a little camera glitch there. Yeah, I think that was in the time trial test as well. But it's cool, so I left it in. It doesn't cost it any time. I think it saves time because of the jumps. Yeah, I'm from Australia. Another cuddle skip here. The trick for this one in RTA is hold right. Always hold right and you'll get it most of the time. You can do it without taking damage, but it's a lot slower, so yeah. This level was probably the first one that was really annoying to TAS with zip-zagging. Because there's lots of stairs and stuff, and there's these doors that open and close, and I have to clip past it. So I think it's the next door after this one that I clip past. That door, I clip past those, and they open because I got behind them, and when you're behind them, they open. And I get some height at the end of the level, so I jump off the right pillar there, I clip into it and jump off, and then there's enough height to reach the portal. The portal hitbox extends down really far, so it's, as long as you don't die, you get into it, but if you're too low, you die, because the death plane also goes up with stairs. So that one was really hard. That one doesn't get in on the first possible frame to the portal, but it's the earliest you can possibly do with the height you can get, and I spent a long time trying to optimize that bit. I get an optimal boost here, so it's a little bit after the first frame you can press it and get a boost, and it saves about 1/15 of a frame, so it probably doesn't even add up to a single frame, but you know, I can get it, so why not. These levels have some really weird racing lines. There's only a really particular amount of angles that you can travel at, so yeah, I do some very on and off movement, but it is optimal with the physics engine. It's one of those things, like with this game, I was hitting cars and signs there to get little boosts as well. With this game and its physics, it looks like real physics when you play it, but when you get really close and TAS it doesn't look like real physics. At the end of this bit, you let go of X and you save a bit of time. I go into the ditch there, it doesn't save or lose time either. I thought it looked cooler than going over the line normally, so I did it. You can actually fall out of bounds in that level at the end over the finish line, but you don't get the crystal, and it loses time. Even if you did get the crystal, it loses time, so I didn't do it. Yeah, Dust, it does save time. Someone told me about that in the Discord. I don't remember who it was, but thank you, whoever that was. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter if you stop quicker. It just matters when you get over the line. But it's something to do, like, when you let go of a wheelie, you should keep it let go, so I think it's a little bit like that. And when I'm too far away from where the camera is in these levels, all the stuff becomes not solid. So I was using that to clip through the handrail things there, and I bounced off the enemies that were hanging on the handrails, because the enemies are still solid with collision. So you can't get too far away from the camera, otherwise the collision just goes away. In this fight, the first hit is the only one that really matters. The rest are really easy to make it on the first possible frame. So you can see I go on top of him for ages and I don't spin or slide for a while.
You thrashed me, mate. No worries, but you'll soon be up against much worse.
There's like a thing in that fight where I ground pound him and you hear the ground pound sound hit, and then maybe like half a second later you hear him get hit. You just can't dingo dance skip in that one. You can't do it. It wasn't in Lapone's TAS either. I did try it a lot to get that dance skip, and it didn't happen. Yeah, I couldn't replicate it at all. Could be like a fastest speed thing even. Believe me, I tried a lot. I also tried to get the double header crash, but I couldn't. Yeah. Well, you know, I tried it a lot, and Lapone36 tried it a lot, and we both couldn't get it at all. So this level's on a cycle as well. It's got those spinning wheels, and yeah, they're all global cycles. It's got these turbine things too, and they're global cycles. They're not global cycles, so they spin as soon as a fixed amount of time after they come on screen. I need 2 Aku Akus in this level, so that I can damage boost through those. I have to wait for that one though. I tried really hard to get through to like at least 1 out of 3 so I could go through all of them, but I couldn't. That's all the global cycles in the run, so that's nice. Yeah, you do get boosted if you spin on a crate. It's spinning on a crate, if you do it too early though, all your speed just stops. So yeah, it's frame perfect, so probably not worth going for. Yeah, there was some video on YouTube. It was really hard to find, but yeah. So about this level is actually a circuit, so you come back to the same line, and you can tell that because if you leave a box you can see it over the finish line, and if you wait they'll overtake you. But since you can't turn around on the road in this game, I don't really understand how you can... Like, you can't turn around, you can't reverse, so I don't understand how you get back to the start line, but yeah. Just weird stuff about this game. Yeah, you can move backwards with some glitch, but it's really slow. So these levels are pretty similar to RTA, but there's one bit that is only in the TAS. It's in a boost. Oh, we must be thinking of a different glitch, Dust, because there's one that you don't have to get placed. Here's the TAS jump. Yeah. That's possible RTA, and I think with enough practice it would be good to go for. That hole skip, you can do it on the right hand side of the hole as well, and that's pretty easy to do RTA, so I think people should go for it. I'm not sure if it's worth it on the really far right hand side though. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a bit counterintuitive, that hole skip, because you actually have to aim for the widest part of the hole. It's so weird. This level, obviously, I don't get the dinosaur because it would kill all the zigzagging speed. The dinosaur movement is the same speed as running shoes. I think even if I wasn't using zigzagging, I still probably wouldn't get the dinosaur because it's just a cutscene. Yeah, the whole skip is where I did it's not consistent. The dinosaur does rubber band, but it doesn't rubber band enough to keep up with you. I had to clip the wall to get behind those boxes under the hangrail there. It was so hard. Like, those boxes just made this level ridiculously difficult. This warp portal is kind of weird. If I get into it the earliest possible frame, it caused about 30 frames more lag. But if I got into it on the second possible frame, it caused no lag, so yeah. I had to wait for that one. There's a lot of damage boosting in this fight. The first time I did it, I came in with no masks, and I had to redo the whole warp room because of it. It was so dumb. But each damage boost saves over 2 seconds, so it's good. So I get hit on his last fireball. It leaves the screen, well, it leaves the arena sooner, so that starts his cycle sooner. And he does this crazy attack that kills you no matter where you are. And for some reason, when he does that attack, he starts his cycle sooner. But it doesn't kill me because I've still got damage invincibility from the fireball. During the transitions, if you get to the other side too quickly, it can actually crash the game, like in those white screens where the arena flips.
My time is up. But yours soon will be too.
Here's a glitch that only works with sound effects on. So there was no cutscene of him tumbling out of there. That only works on the entropy fight. It works on Dingodile, but only if you use item glitch and take crystals out of the Dingodile fight, and obviously I'm not doing that. So I could only do it in entropy there. Thanks, I only figured out button glitch at this point of the run. Oh, I go over that door there too. So I'm trying to make the most of it at this point with button glitch. This door was awful. That was closed, so I went under it to open it. Like, clipped out of bounds, went under it, and then it opened because I was behind it. Then I came back in bounds, then jumped through it. Death Tornado spin helps so much with zigzagging, but it's still pretty hard sometimes. That level was really difficult to do just because of that stupid door. And there's a lot of stairs before the door as well, so as I said, getting height while zigzagging is really hard. It was just, yeah, not good. This level uses a slightly different route to RTA. I think some people used to use it and stopped doing it just because it was hard to line up the heights. It was quicker to do another route RTA. I was really sad that I didn't find bug. Well, I knew about bug glitch, but I couldn't figure out how to do it earlier. It doesn't save or lose time, but sometimes you need an NSJ into the portal, so you can't do bug glitch. But when I can slide spin into the portal without losing time, I always do it from this point. There's a death abuse at the end here, so I have to die and hit it at the same time. That skips a big cutscene of Coco flying off. That death abuse was really hard because your plane is so strong in that level. It's really hard to die just in that short amount of time. I think the water level in this level is on a global cycle. I'm pretty sure it is, but it doesn't really matter. There's lots of these switches to open the doors, but either they're underwater or opening them costs time because you have to wait for them to open. So I think the next door I clip past this one. Yeah, I clip over it. And it opens because I got in behind it. When you're behind the doors, they always open. That one, yeah, I opened that one. It didn't cost any time because I was so far ahead of the screen. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad somebody mentioned the death abuse in the flying levels, because I hadn't seen it before. I asked about strats in the Discord. That platform is really weird. If you get to that platform too quickly, then it takes crash away, but the camera doesn't follow you. So yeah, you gotta not get there too fast. And the lifts in this level are also weird because if you get there really quickly, they take a while to go up. And you have to stand on them for a little bit, so I lose speed. But I mean, you should get to the lifts as quick as you can, because it never totals longer than it would. There's a weird glitch at the end of this level where the warp portal's invisible as well. I don't know why it's invisible. Yeah, what Dust said, the elevators are a bit like loading screens. I like that part because I spin there, but the spin sound comes out, but not the visuals. The visuals are like a frame behind in that button glitch thing. Now time for the best level in the run. Oh yeah. Yeah. I try and mix up the platforming and the not platforming. I try and do like one and the other every time. These levels are actually really hard to save much time on at all, so they're still really close to RTA. I think this one was only like 1 or 2 seconds faster. I could have got a mask for this bit. It cost me like 3 frames to not damage abuse there, but having the mask there like caused more than 3 frames of lag to have a mask when I got it and broke the box. Yeah, I think this might be the longest level in the run. Either that or the second driving level. With that jump there, a lot of people just go in between the bombs and don't take the jump, but I tried both ways and the jump was faster, so I don't know. It's probably hard to get a really nice turn on the jump. Yeah. I have a spreadsheet of all the level times and like comparisons to RTA and stuff, even though you shouldn't really compare, but I like to see. The level that I saved the most time on compared to RTA, like aside from the zigzagging levels, was Mad Bombers. I think that was like, yeah, 25 seconds faster than the best one I could find or something. These levels are the least, and yeah, the way that I was timing it, I lost some time to FPS, and it was, yeah, hard to even beat RTA on this one just because of the FPS time loss. Yeah, Mad Bombers is so bad. Yeah, the engine hitboxes seem really off-center sometimes. They seem to change. Yeah, I don't know. This fight is ridiculous. I spent over 2 weeks just doing the engine fight, and it was about 55,000 re-records just for the fight. It was crazy, but yeah. The first phase is sort of a side room. Sorry about the loudness. And you have to wait for the second arm to come up. It looks like I hit it really late, but that's the first frame that you can hit it. And yeah, the second phase, I don't do a fight in my any percent TAS, but it's like over 200 frames faster than the old any percent TAS, right? The top two things there, you can hit the top two at the same time, like with the same bullet, so they're twice as fast sometimes. Yeah, that engine fight is so technical. Lots of really precise analog inputs and stuff. With zigzagging, the optimal way to do it is like completely left, completely right, completely up, or completely down on the analog, so it doesn't really matter then. But with shooting, like full analog range, it gets really hard to do. Now, I didn't do a button glitch there because I don't do it if it loses any time, and it probably lost like a frame there or something. You'll notice that I slid a bit before I started zigzagging. This level, it takes heaps of time before you can even start building up speed, but you can do a slide before that, and it faces you forwards as well. So you can actually slide forwards. So yeah, there's 2 levels in Warp 5 that I do that because it's faster in those. But usually they face you backwards, or there's just not enough time because you can zigzag so soon anyway. Yeah, there's no zigzagging in the warp room because it's just slower to build up that much speed, and it causes more lag and stuff. Yeah, it's just not worth it. It's really close though, only a few frames. I really like this part because you get to the warp portal so quickly. Yeah, that whole time on those platforms that take you in between the areas, that whole time you can build up speed. So I have a lot of speed coming off of those. Alright, here we go for the driving level that probably should have been second instead of third. But I mean, it is very impressive, their programming that they did, because the game's actually able to stream the levels that fast. Like, I'm always really impressed to see it scroll that fast in the game. I mean, it lags, but it doesn't lag heaps. Those corners were awful to do. Going over the jump doesn't cost time, but hitting that car there got me a bit more, like, another 1/15 to the frame. So I hit it and then go over the jump. Going over the jumps sometimes costs time, but that's good. Hitting the zippers again saves about 5 frames-ish. I think it's 5 frames. It definitely does save time, so if they're not out of the way, you should do it. It might even be more. Yeah, I think it's more than 5 if I went that much out of the way for it. And it was still worth it, obviously, because I did it. Yeah, I've never seen anyone hold the boost the whole way, even in the old TAS. Again, sliding into that ditch doesn't lose any time. I just thought it was cool because Crash slided really far forward in it for some reason. When I do a body slam to climb up higher there, it kills all my speed, so I have to build it up again. But it's worth it over just climbing normally. There's a glitch here where there's no sound coming out of the warp room, so yeah, it's interesting. I don't know why. And watch the cutscene, the very start of the cutscene here. It shakes, and that's because I did a ground pound just before the cutscene, and I don't know why that happened, but it's so weird. Yeah, so there's that glitch too. It happens in the level if there's no cutscene, but it doesn't do anything. So I have to go at really weird angles to these planes to hit the hitboxes. It doesn't look very good, but it, yeah, works. Yeah, Dust, I know it's a universal thing, but like, it just baffles me that it carries over between levels. Yeah, again, there's some really weird angles of these planes just because the hitboxes. So this route is completely different than RTA, but I'm pretty sure it saves, like, I tested both and it saves more time, so. Shush. The music glitch happened again there, I don't know why. It starts a little bit later. Like, just at the end there, you can hear it start. So here we go, last level. Yeah, this one was really bad because it had lots of hills and stuff, so as I said, getting high is bad. That death abuse is not possible in RTA. It's frame perfect, and either side of it you can go wrong. You can either die or not get it. I think I clip a door there. Not there. There are damage abuse to get through a door, and the next door I clip through. That one I clipped through, yeah. So I don't get the light because it causes more lag, but it kind of looks really cool at the same time. But I was worried about it causing seizures as well for people watching it, so that's another reason why I didn't want to do it. I know you can pick up the bugs. Alright, so we're up to the Cortex fight. Nothing much to this apart from hitting him into the hole frame perfectly. Now, so I announced this TAS 3 weeks ago now, and I've had a lot of time to prepare for the TAS in that 3 weeks. So I've actually got a bonus run at the end of this TAS that is going to play straight after the credits. And we'll see what that is soon. I'll give you a hint, it's not 14 Tailsman, because I've never played Spyro 2. Or whatever Spyro it is. I played Spyro 3 though. It's not Spyro 3. Alright, there we go. So that comes in at 39 minutes and 0.517 seconds TAS timing. And people will notice that I left sound effects on, and obviously I didn't use fast disk speed. So RTA timing, if I turned sound effects off with fast disk speed, would be a 3342.285.
With a nice big drink.
So yeah, there you go.
Nice big
It's a Crash 3 test.
eyes for my head. It's not over, Bandicoot. There are still the gems. We still have a chance to triumph.
Zero. So yeah, with the bonus run, is not full-on TAS. It's something called a LOTAD, which stands for Low Optimization Tool Assisted Demonstration. So it's kind of like a TAS. You use the TAS tools, but it's not fully optimized like a TAS is. Yeah, I wouldn't have had time in 3 weeks to do a full-on TAS. And after the stream, I'll make all this stuff available on YouTube, and I'll link all the stuff in the chat after the stream. Oh, you caught me. It's definitely a Pokemon Emerald TAS where I catch the LOTAD. Yeah, that's right. I don't have an NTSC console, so it would be a bit hard to run Crash 3 with a good setup. I mean, I could run it on PAL, but it's a bit bad on PAL. There's still a bonus run coming up, Colin, so you haven't missed everything. The good thing about Crash speedrunning is, so Crash 1 you run on Japan, Crash 2 you run on PAL, Crash 3 you run on US, so yeah. It's, oh yeah, here's the bonus run. Yeah, PS1 at least. Just a reminder, this is a LOTAD, so it's not going to be fully optimized. And remember I said that the screen scrolling speed is not capped in this one, so it's going to be a little bit faster. There's a lot of lag though when you go too fast. And any percent, as you probably guessed from that. Yeah, not all the levels are that laggy. Yeah. Some of them... Like, Slippery Climb's really good because while you're climbing, the level has the time to load really well, and then there's no lag for the bit after the climb. So, yeah. Death Abuse doesn't work in the Japanese version, and the reason that I didn't Death Abuse is because it would kill all my speed zip-sagging. I'd have to build it up again. So it's just quicker to get through the level as fast as possible and use the Japanese version, as far as I know. Although, don't trust me, I did a LOTAD. It's actually really easy to get that gem skip. Like, I had to specifically stop myself from going over the ending platform there. No, this LOTAD is definitely not going on TAS videos. Only good TASers should go on TAS videos. I don't think there will be a full-on TAS of this game. It would just be way too hard to optimize. LOTAD stands for Low Optimization Tool Assisted Demonstration, so it's like a bad TAS, basically. Yeah, I don't think there'll be a full TAS of this game. It's just way too hard to optimize, because in Crash 3, you just optimize to get the maximum scrolling speed, but in this one, there's no maximum scrolling speed, so lag affects it, and you just don't know how much speed to build up. You would probably have to tell, like, there's about 80 different speeds that you could possibly do to get through the level, 80 different speed values you could choose. So you'd probably have to test all of them. So you'd have to TAS each level fully about 80 times each to know which one's fastest. And it would just be a mess, because you can't predict it using, like, maths, because you never know when it's going to lag and stuff. It's, yeah. I would be very skeptical if someone claimed to do a fully optimized TAS of this game. Puppy Puppy has more hits in the Japanese version as well, which is weird, but it still works out faster to use it, I'm pretty sure. So there's lots of differences, like little physics differences in this game. Like, the Crash has a limited number of spins, and it's a lot more noticeable in this one. Wow, I didn't realize they put that much in. That's cool. That ending of that level was really hard because the end of it was so high up, and you'll remember I said getting height is really hard with zigzagging. So, yeah. I had to basically walk up to it. Here's the worst level in the run. These levels that were the same as Pirahiko's TAS, I didn't really bother optimizing too much. I think I lost like 30 frames in this level or something. But the point of it is not to like show off these parts, it's to show off the zigzagging. Dust, I guess, is probably one of the only things that the Japanese version seems to have more of. Like, I mean, obviously they keep that level that was longer in the US version and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, zigzagging doesn't work in this level, unfortunately. Something I forgot to mention in Crash 3 is you can't skip Puro with zigzagging. You can zigzag with Coco, but no matter how fast you go, you don't skip Puro. Yeah, getting all the boxes for the green gem, yeah, standard any % stuff really. That's another thing, if I was playing the US version, I'd have to get all the boxes in a different level, which would be slow. This one, getting all the boxes costs like no time. Yeah, I'd love to find a use for Coco zigzagging, I really do, but it doesn't seem that there's a use for it. There was a really hard part in this level. That stack of like 5 boxes with the TNT and stuff on it was really difficult. I have to do some crazy sub-jumping. I think it's like coming up here, yeah, there. Jump under the thing as it goes down, that was so hard. Yeah. So climbing stuff is at normal speed, but yeah. Remember, I can build up speed the whole time that I'm climbing. You got my phone.
What have I got?
When I was making this, I got up to like Koala Kong, and then I realized I had a desync in Ripperoo, so I had to redo the whole second island basically. It was so frustrating. But I mean, at least it wasn't a full-on TAS that desynced. It really is low optimization. Like, I don't know if I build up the right amount of speed or anything. I reckon a full-on TAS could save probably 1 or 2 minutes over this. Yeah, it'll be the whole any percent. I mean, even though it was low optimization, this TAS was still like 40,000 re-records. Not TAS, LOTAD. This LOTAD was still 40,000 re-records. And that's more re-records than I put into some TASs, so it depends what game it is, really. Some crazy sub-jump there to get past the blocks. They were so hard to get past. And there was some cycles here that I couldn't make, which kind of sucked, but oh well. TAS would probably route Aku Aku's better, and get damage boosts to make those cycles. Also, yeah, you might notice that I got a few Aku Akus that I didn't need, so that costs like, I don't know, maybe 5 frames or something. And yeah, so there was just stuff like that in here, so I got Aku Akus that I didn't need, losing time, so that's the LOTAD aspect of it, I guess. This level was awful. Like, for some reason the camera is just horrible in this level. So, I don't even know. You can see me struggling with it, like, it's going back and forth, it's just terrible. These levels would be a lot quicker if it wasn't for the camera, the way that the camera worked. But I guess there's nothing I can do about it, really. I think I forgot to mention the re-record count for the Crash 3 TAS. That was like 217,000 or something. So a little bit more than the 40,000 in this one. Yeah, I still don't think the camera followed him that well. It was really hard. I like this level. Yeah, as I said, like, bends in the track and things going higher is really bad on zigzagging. So, yeah, that level's really nice. No, I don't have a Crash 2 TAS. I've thought about it, but Crash 2 is pretty... there's Chef Steph is TASing Crash 2 without zigzagging, and I think he's also working on Crash 2 with zigzagging, so there's plenty of people working on it. Yeah, this will definitely be highlighted, and I'll probably upload a copy with this commentary and chat onto YouTube as well. I thought about 100% as well. That was one of the levels where you couldn't use zigzagging to get all the boxes without the gem. But I think there's a few new skips for 100% with zigzagging. I've got some plans for Land of Illusion TAS on the Master System, but after that, I'm thinking about doing a 105% LOTAD on Crash 3. But I'm not going to promise anything because I might change my mind or something. 105% TAS would take me literally years to make, so that's not going to happen. But we'll see about that LOTAD, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what route it would use though. Yeah, I have no idea. Once I get to the top here, this is my favorite part of the TAS because there's like no lag for this bit of zigzagging just coming up. Yeah, literal years, because any percent only took me like, it took me over 6 months, so yeah, 105 would have even more routing, and the optimization would be hard because of the boxes and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, because the rest of the level has so much time to load in Slippery Climb, so yeah. Yeah, not only 6 months, but like, yeah, I can't believe it took me 6 months. I actually got really sick of doing like play around and stuff in the bosses, because that actually takes some of the most time to do lots of play around. Yeah, I'd agree, Dust. I wouldn't even know what gates I clip. I might, if you're keen to, I might have a chat to you about running later with 105. Because I don't even know what gates I clip. I think I've 105'd Crash 3 maybe like 1 or 2 times in my life ever, so I'm not super familiar with it. I have to wait for a cart there to hit the rock, but then on a later cycle I don't. And in Pirahiko's TAS, it was like he waited on the later cycle. I don't know. I wonder if zigzagging still works in the remakes. I don't think it would. I really don't think so, but you never know. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Dust. The other thing is, I'd want to skip the first Cortex visit in 105%, so I don't know how that would work. I think you do all 5 levels in the time trial, and then you don't have to go into Cortex for the first visit, or something like that, but I don't know how that would come into the route. You do zigzagging, well, first of all, it's TAS only, and every frame, like, you alternate really quickly, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, while you're jumping, or like up, right, down, left if you want. And then, yeah, you alternate that really fast. Yeah, I reckon it would be possible, Dust, because the Cortex fight doesn't spawn till you have 25 crystals, so you could do, like, levels 21 to 25 without those crystals. Running Shoe Zigzag wouldn't be that different. And there was, like, a camera skip thing that Pirahiko did in that bit, and I didn't do it there because I didn't figure it out. So, yeah, that's the LOTAD part of it. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to have a really long think about 105. Because you do levels 21 to 25, and because you got the crystals from that level, then the time trials would be active. I think that's how it works, at least. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll find out, at least. Cortex 1 wouldn't be that bad to go into anyway. Yeah, but what you do is... yeah, but Dust, what you do is you do Warp 5 before you do the other one, so you don't have 25 crystals yet, so the boss thing doesn't spawn. Yeah, I'll figure it out. It'll just be a LOTAD though, so... yeah. I think this is Toxic Waste, and I like Toxic Waste. It's another one of those levels that is like a straight line. But it does have those ramps where you have to get high, so that's a bit annoying. when I hit these guys back, I can keep up with them. Like, I think the next one maybe. When I hit it back, yeah, I keep up with it for a little bit there, which is cool. Oh, it does get rid of all the other buttons. Okay, yeah. I'll probably have to go into the fight then, so... That's right, I'll just go into it and do it. Well, not do it, but pause exit. Pinstrap fight was annoying though. Yeah. Wow, that's bad. I wasn't sure about this part. Like, I think RTA actually, it either beats or almost beats Pirahiko's version of this fight, so I don't know. I thought about doing the RTA route, but I just decided to do the one in the TAS already. I don't know much about it, so I don't know if that's a new route or something. Oh, this level is so weird, because this is the one that they shortened on the Japanese version. But if you go past the ending bit with zigzagging, the camera keeps scrolling as far as the US version used to scroll. So they didn't update the camera. And also, Sunset Vista, I think the beta used to be longer or something, and the camera keeps scrolling out further to where the beta scrolled out to if you go past the ending portal thing. It's so weird. But yeah, that was like one of the cool things that I found. It scrolls really far in Sunset Vista. Like, there's nothing out there, they got rid of all the level, but the camera just keeps scrolling. Yeah, I think they played through the beta at one of the AGDQs or something. So there's a video of it. The beta version's cool, but it kind of just looks like a ROM hack. Like, because they use weird things for platforms and stuff. That was one of those really close cycles there. I guess that was one of those no laggy bits when zigzagging. And like a full-on TAS would completely route this level, so they knew exactly which damage boost was fastest, and they probably get more Aku Akus and stuff. Yeah, I really like them for making this game hard, because not enough people make hard platformers. And I mean, they actually had to tone it down a little bit anyway. They made it too hard. No, you can't zigzag into Stormy Ascent. I won't submit this to TAS videos because it's a LOTAD, but I'll probably make a post in TAS videos just showing it so that, like, if somebody does decide to TAS it, they have it as a reference.
What have I got?
Camera in this level wasn't quite as bad as the first one of these type of levels. Yeah, that is true, but I couldn't live with myself if I submitted this to TAS videos. Wrong exit. Wrong exit. I'm not sure what you mean about those darkness levels. Wasn't worth zigzagging on this level. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really weird. Maybe something to do with the, Oh, I wouldn't really know because, like, I couldn't see them when I was doing the TAS at all, so, yeah. Now for another exciting boss fight. I'm not a fan of the boss fights in this game. But, I mean, I guess they're okay the first time you play them, but if you're speedrunning it or TASing it, it just gets boring really quickly. At least you can zigzag. When I bounce off of him here, it kills my zigzagging speed, so I have to do the rest of it normally. I'm not sure if there's some clever way to keep that or not, but I didn't really try. Well, I did, but not heaps hard. This level is fun because you start off just opening the doors and then you just start clipping past them eventually. It's really hard because sometimes you can get stuck in the walls in that level. And last level, so we're gonna get the 100% ending. We don't fight Cortex in this task. I tried to translate that level name because it has a question mark and I don't know what it is. Yeah, so that saves a bit of time there too. Alright, so that TAS, yeah, I'm not sure what category you'd configure it. That TAS got 2506.859 TAS timing, and RTA with fastest speed would be about 2207. But that's extremely rough, that time that I did that. I reckon TAS could probably get like sub 20 RTA with FPS, just barely. But I don't know how much it would save. Crash 3 was 39 minutes TAS timing, like almost exactly 39 minutes. And RTA was RTA on Crash 3 with adjusted sound effects and fastest speed time was 33:42. Yep. I mean, for a LOTAD, but there's new tech in it, and really, you could have saved a lot of time on that. It didn't look like it, but there really was a lot of time to save there. 1 or 2 minutes, I'd say. Just from better build up on speed. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. The White Gems destination. I like it, because I tried to like decipher the hiragana and katakana and put it into Google Translate, but I had no luck with it. Thank you. So yeah, I'm glad people like it. So it'll probably be a little while until I can do more with this game. I'm going to take a break and go into some Land of Illusion TASing. But I'll probably be back to do 105 LOTAD. I think we'll see. Unless I'm just really sick of it at that point, but you'll probably see something. I also want to investigate box glitch, item glitch in Crash 3. Land of Illusion is like an old platformer. It's a little bit like Super Mario World on the Master System. It's not very well known at all. But it's like also really different than Super Mario World. Yeah, so I think I'll be back, and yeah, that's what I was streaming the other day. So I'm not sure, with this category for Crash 1, I think it would, yeah, it would definitely still be considered 80%. It would be dumb to consider it 100%. And I would, if somebody submitted a TAS of it, then I would hope that it would be a separate category than Pirahiko's TAS. Because that TAS is still a fantastic reference for RTA, and it's really well optimized. And yeah, it's a really great TAS. I'd hate to see it obsoleted by something like this. So yeah, if someone decides to do it, go for a separate category. That's all I could say. 80% with zigzagging or something. And same for Crash 3, although I don't have much motivation to do no zigzagging on Crash 3, and I don't know anyone that really does. It wouldn't be much faster than RTA at all. The RTA runs are really well optimized for Crash 3. Cool. Alright, that's all I have. So, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to find someone to host.